This program is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any illness. Please speak with your doctor when starting a new health program.
Welcome to the show this week. I'm George Batista, your host, and as always, your steadfast wellness advocate. This show is the show that goes over the latest in health and healing and nutrition and supplements and fitness. And it's about empowerment. It's about giving you the tools that you can use to make better choices and ultimately live a healthier life. Glad you guys could be with me this week. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can keep up with us each week. And all the links are below, so you can take a look at the information and any of the articles that we go over. Just a quick note, this Thursday, February 24th, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be a guest on the Hurricane H channel, which is part of the EMBC TV network. And you can find it on YouTube. Just search Hurricane H. And we're going to be talking about health and nutrition. So again, it's this Thursday, February 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hurricane H channel. Should be a fun discussion. So those of you who want to check us out, should be fun. All right, this week's topics. First, we're going to be diving into drug nutrient depletions and mitochondrial toxicity with common heart medications. And this is our Wellness Resources article of the week. And I think this is going to be particularly interesting for people who are on medications, and because we're going to be talking about how these medications deplete your nutrients and what you can do to put the odds in your favor. So I think it's going to be very important. Then we're going to talk about how vitamin D reduces the incidence of autoimmunity, and this is from the Orthomolecular Medicine News Service. So this is brand new information on vitamin D. Then we're going to talk about how exercise can help older adults retain memories. And this is from University of Pittsburgh. Now, we all know exercise is very, very important, but how does exercise and your memory fit together? Brand new science on this. And then finally, I'm going to start a segment on each of the shows, and I'm going to highlight a particular each week, I'm going to highlight a particular Wellness Resources supplement. You guys know that Wellness Resources is the number one supplement company that we promote because they've been in business for over 35 years. And in my estimation, they are the best supplement company in the world. So I want to highlight each of their supplements throughout the shows and show you exactly what is in them, because besides their fantastic quality of their supplements, they are also very well known for their transparency. So I think it's important that you guys know exactly what is in these supplements and what is not in these supplements, because it makes a difference if you're going to be using those supplements, whether it's for yourself or for your friends and family. You want to make sure that the ingredients are top notch and the company is operating with integrity as they do. So that's what's on tap for this week. Let's get started. All right, first we're going to start with our Wellness Resources article of the week. It's titled Drug Nutrient Depletions and Mitochondrial Toxicity with Common Heart Meds. Now, those of you who have watched TV, you've probably seen those pharmaceutical commercials that have an endless list of drug side effects, and sometimes those side effects can be 3/4 of the commercial by the time they're done listing them. So it gets a little crazy. But, I myself, in my circle, I know people, friends and family, who are on some of these medications, whether it's blood pressure medications, blood sugar medications, or cholesterol medications. But we all know that these medications come with side effects. Now, side effects can vary from person to person because we're all different, right? So some people can have more severe side effects to these and some may not. But many times, people who have more severe reactions to these medications end up having to take another medication just to deal with the reaction they had from the first medication. And then it becomes an endless cycle from there. So now, in recent years, scientists have delved into drug toxicity effects on mitochondria, right? So we all know that mitochondria are your cell engines. but they've compiled a database, and you can find that at mitotox.org. That's mitotox.org for all these different types of concerns. But one of the issues that many of these medications have is that they deplete nutrients, okay? And this is what we're really going to dive into here. So we all know statin medications, right? Statin medications are primarily used for people with elevated cholesterol or, cardiovascular or stroke risk, but they can also be prescribed for people with for triglyceride concerns, diabetes concerns, liver concerns, and even high blood pressure and even peripheral vascular concerns. So primarily it's cholesterol, but they can be prescribed for other things as well. Now, side effects from cholesterol lowering medications such as simvastatin, for example, they can affect your heart, your heart mitochondria. They can also affect different tissues throughout your body. Other side effects from statins can be body aches, abnormal pain, fatigue, weakness, atrial fibrillation, bronchitis, cataracts, and even constipation, just to name a few side effects. So now, statin medications, for example, like Crestor or Lipitor, and these are the top-selling statin medications. As a matter of fact, some of you may not know this, but Lipitor is probably the top, and I think it is still, the top-selling pharmaceutical medication of all time. But one of the side effects of cholesterol medications is that it can deplete your coenzyme Q10 status. Now, coenzyme Q10 is extremely important because it's made in your liver and it's made throughout your life, and it helps your body convert energy from food. But it specifically works in the mitochondria of the heart, so it gives your heart the energy to pump in rhythm, that type of thing. But when you suppress cholesterol through the liver, you're also suppressing coenzyme Q10. So that's a problem. And by the way, coenzyme Q10 diminishes as you get older, even without medication. So this is something that's vitally important. Now, other cholesterol lowering medications like Cholestid and Questran also deplete nutrients. For example, they deplete vitamin A, B12, D, E, K, folate, beta-carotene, and iron. So, these things have to be replaced in order for you to be, to get the proper nutrition. And Wellness Resources does have many, many articles that talk about side effects of medications and CoQ10, so I would definitely take a look at those. Now, aspirin also depletes nutrients. And one of the things that aspirin does is it causes toxic effects to mitochondria in your liver. Now, why is that important? Because obviously the liver is extremely important in your body, right? The liver is responsible for detoxification. It's responsible for managing your blood sugar. It's responsible for bile and helping you break down fats. Obviously, your immune system. There's many, many things that the liver is responsible for. So if the aspirin is starting to deplete the mitochondria in your liver, then that's a problem which can actually cause your liver to work not as well. Aspirin also it depletes things like folate, iron, zinc, vitamins like B12 and C. Now, let's talk a little bit about blood pressure. Now, there's many different types of blood pressure medications, but specifically beta blockers, which are pretty popular and used regularly. They have also a toxic effect on mitochondria. Now, their side effects include heart rhythm disturbances, including atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, AV block, brachycardia, which is a slow heart rate, bronchospasm, heart attack, and heart failure. And that's just some of the things that they can cause. And specific ones like Lopressor and propanolol, atenolol, they also reduce your coenzyme Q10 and your melatonin levels. Okay, so that could be an issue with sleeping as well, besides your coenzyme Q10. So those are just things to think about when it comes to blood pressure medications. Then we have, of course, blood sugar medications. And the popular ones are like metformin. Okay, so metformin causes a preponderance of gastrointestinal side effects. Now, your GI tract contains vast amounts of mitochondria, and it's a very high energy organ system, okay? But side effects of this can include bloating, discomfort, pain, constipation, diarrhea, all, indigestion, all different types of things like that. And metformin and glucophage diminish coenzyme Q10, again, vitamin B12 and folate levels. Now, other anti-diabetic medications like micronase and tolinase actually also deplete coenzyme Q10, and metformin also robs the body of B1, B6, B12, and folate. So those are just some things to think about. Now, what can we do if you're on these medications to, again, help put the odds in our favor? Well, the first thing you need to do, obviously, is talk to your physician and just make sure that they are on board with any kind of protocols that or whatever it is you're doing when you're on these medications, because you want them on the same page. Then what I would look at is just to keep in mind that the human body needs essential nutrition. Okay, this is what runs your body, right? Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so if these medications are depleting that nutrition and you are not replacing that nutrition, that's a problem, because now you're in a deficit. Okay, this could mean that things can start to go wrong as time goes along. So, what are the top choices for getting that basic nutrition in? Or what I would do in that situation, first thing I would do is look at Wellness Resources Basic Nutrition. Okay, so what I would do is I would first look at the Daily Energy Multivitamin, because that's going to give you all your basics, your vitamins and your minerals, your antioxidants, everything is in there. Then you also have several nutrients that have been found to help protect against free radicals and metabolic stress from statins. Okay, and this is also going to help support mitochondrial function, because that's what we want to do. At the end of the day, we want to support our mitochondria, and we want to give ourselves the basic nutrition so that, again, if we're losing it, we're also replacing it. So things like top choices from Wellness Resources, coenzyme Q10 or their super CoQ10. You could also take a look at their acetyl L-carnitine. Take a look at their vitamin D, and their vitamin D, by the way, comes in small capsules, which are great. Your daily Super E is great, and you could also look at their creatine and curcumin supplements. So, again, these are things that can help support your overall nutrition and help support your mitochondria. But you have to replace the nutrition no matter what, because, again, nutrition is the foundation. So this is something to think about. If you are on any of these medications, or you know someone that's on these medications, make sure you share this information, because it can be very important. Next, it's official. Vitamin D reduces the incidence of autoimmunity. And this is from Michael Passwater, Orthomolecular Medicine News, and this was a Harvard-led study. Now, we all know about the importance of vitamin D, right? Why is vitamin D so important? Vitamin D has tons of epigenetic effects. It impacts over 3,000 genes. It's been estimated that as much as 3 to 4% of the genome may be influenced by vitamin D. Now, vitamin D has a half-life of the active form in your body of about 4 hours, and a half-life of pre-hormone form of vitamin D about 2 to 3 weeks. We all know also vitamin D regulates calcium and also regulates phosphate homeostasis in the body. So again, vitamin D just has so many benefits, and we've been learning more and more about it, especially in the last couple of years. But now there was brand new information. This was, again, a Harvard-led study, and what they found was that it showed that there was a meaningful 22% statistically significant reduction in the incidence of autoimmune disease in older adults taking 2,000 units. And that's 50 micrograms per day. And this was done over 5 years. Now, this was a large nationwide study, and it involved 12,786 men, 50 years and older, and it was 13,085 women, 55 years or older. And what's interesting is that it was a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, and that's kind of like the gold standard of these type of trials and studies and stuff like that. Now, the National Institutes of Health have estimated that about 23.5 million Americans, or about less than 7% of the population, suffered from an autoimmune disease. Now, just taking a look at a couple of numbers here from the trial, 13% of the participants had a vitamin D level that was lower than 20 nanograms per milliliter. Okay, and at the start of the trial, and 45% had levels that were 30 nanograms or less. So they were pretty low. And so they were considered really deficient if you think about it. And a subgroup of participants, about 1,644 people, had vitamin D levels tested 1 year into the study. In aggregate, participants taking 2,000 units of vitamin D had an increase of 40% in vitamin D levels to 41.8 nanograms. So think about it. These people went from 20 or 30 nanograms to 41 nanograms, which is starting to get into the better ranges. And this was only done with 2,000 units of vitamin D. So that's very interesting. Now, the other thing that they talked about in this study also is that they tried to see if maybe moving the vitamin D up to 4,000 units made even a bigger difference in the autoimmune issue, and there wasn't any statistical difference in it. So now, in the United States, for an adult with or under 70 years of age, the recommended daily allowance is actually 600 units. And if you're 70 or older, they actually recommend 800 units. So they were using units that were way above the recommended daily allowance, which is something that I've always recommended, because there's really not much movement in the recommended when you're using the recommended daily allowance as far as your vitamin D level. There may be a little bit of movement, but really a lot of movement in the vitamin D level to begin with is when you're starting to go into at least 1,000 units or more, just in my opinion. So this was very, very interesting. If you want to take a look at the study, it's on my website, georgebatista.com. But again, this is very significant because so many people are dealing with autoimmune issues. So the lesson here is to make sure, no matter what, your vitamin D levels are at adequate levels. So you again, put the odds in your favor that you may not have to deal with an autoimmune issue moving forward. Next, from the University of Pittsburgh, exercise can help older adults retain memories. Now, so you always have these questions, right? How much exercise should I do? Who benefits the most? When should we do it? That type of thing. So the new research, this was led by these Pittsburgh psychologists. It pulls the data from dozens of studies to answer the questions, and it shows that older adults may be able to prevent declines in certain kinds of memory by sticking to a regular exercise program. So basically, in this study, it says it seems like exercising about 3 times a week for at least 4 months is how much you need to reap the benefits in what's called episodic memory. Now, episodic memory is the kind that deals with events that happened to you in the past, and it's also one of the first things that declines with age. So the team poured over 1,279 studies and eventually narrowing them down to just 36 that met the specific criteria that they were looking for. And they used the different kinds of specialized software and Excel spreadsheets to transform the data into a form where the studies could be directly compared. And the work paid off because what they found that pooling about 36 of these studies was enough to show the benefit for these older adults, that they got the benefits from this exercise. So there was 3,000 participants altogether in this entire study. And what they found was that there were greater improvements in memory among those who were age 55 to 68 years old compared to those that were 69 to 85 years old. So the lesson there was that the greatest effects on exercise in those who, number one, hadn't experienced any cognitive decline, and number two, who were consistently exercising several times a week, because they found it was more significant in the younger population, meaning 55 to 68. They were saying that to get the most benefit, you need to start earlier, right? And that's the thing. The earlier you start, the better it is going to be for you and your memory. And this is what I say on this show many times, right? It's better to prevent something and easier to prevent something than to deal with it when it's already started. So the moral of the story is start your exercise programs earlier. Anything you can do, whether it's walking or yoga or lifting weights or whatever exercise program you do, just get moving, because even a small amount of exercise has been shown to improve just not only your memory, but just to improve your mitochondria and to improve all facets of the human body in many, many ways. So again, exercise early, make sure you're getting it in as much as you can, because it will make a difference. And finally, because February is Heart Health Month, and we've been doing a lot of articles on heart health, I want to spotlight one of Wellness Resources' fantastic supplements. And I'm going to be doing that each week. So this week's spotlight is going to be on a supplement called Cardio Helper. Now, Cardio Helper is one of Wellness Resources' fantastically designed supplements, and it's designed to support healthy function of the cardiovascular system while at the same time protecting and strengthening the heart. Now, when you enhance circulation, oxygen is more readily transported and made available to cells. And then this supports healthy blood pressure and effective delivery of nutrition to cells, because that's the most important part, right? So this supplement has 4 components to it, okay? The first ingredient is resveratrol. Now, many of you may know resveratrol because it's found in some red wines and grapes, but resveratrol is a potent cardiovascular antioxidant, and it works synergistically as part of the antioxidant network, okay? It also helps your mitochondria. It keeps your mitochondria in good working order, and it helps to helps your mitochondria to make energy more efficiently, while at the same time protecting against damage. The second ingredient is grapeseed extract. Now, grapeseed extract is a flavonoid that has a high affinity for collagen structures, including those of your arteries and your heart. It's also known to enhance the structural integrity of any tissue, helping to offset physical wear and tear in the body. And it also helps to strengthen vein health and skin structure. The third component is hawthorn berry, and I love hawthorn berry. I've talked about hawthorn berry on this channel many, many times. And hawthorn berry is rich in friendly flavonoids and has been used traditionally as a cardiovascular tonic. And by the way, hawthorn has been used for thousands of years because the leaves in the berry give you those medicinal properties. Now, the hawthorn berry fruit has an affinity for collagen structures as well, collagen structures of the heart, blood vessels, and the endothelial lining of the circulatory system. And why is that important? Because that endothelial lining, and I've talked about this before, secretes a gas called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what helps to keep your blood vessels pliable and flexible. So if you are deficient in nitric oxide, this is when your arteries start to become stiff, okay? So hawthorn berry can help with that. And finally, the last ingredient is horse chestnut extract. And horse chestnut extract has been shown to help strengthen the veins and support circulation in the legs, helping to move fluids in the normal manner and improve vein health. And by the way, horse chestnut works in multiple ways to support the health of your capillaries and veins. So it is kind of like a cardiovascular tonic for the valves and the veins, if you will. And in addition to its structural support of veins and valves, it also has a regulating effect relating to both capillaries and veins that involves ion channels and the flow of calcium in particular. So its actions are very, very unique and fascinating. So again, this is Cardio Helper. It's one of these supplements that I've used with clients in the past and gotten fantastic results with it. So I would definitely recommend it if you guys are looking to strengthen your cardiovascular system. So make sure you go to the links below and check out Cardio Helper. All right, for that's it this week. Glad you guys can be with me. Hope you guys have a great and safe week. Take care, and as always, take control of your health.